I know. I was doing some research on it, trying to figure out exactly where it was, because one of my friend's obituaries, they talked about she was raised.
Okay, it is 6:30. We will call the, wow, it says May 24th. I don't think that's the right day.
Did the right one pull up?
I should raise my distance.
June 14th, right?
Yeah.
Why does it say, oh,
We got a.
oh, never mind. I read wrong. The June 14th meeting, excuse me, the meeting's in order. Thank you. Okay, first is approve the May 24th minutes. Everybody have a chance to review those?
Motion to approve the minutes for May 24th.
Second. Discussion on the minutes? Tony?
Yes.
Aye.
Yes. Okay. Okay, we got the April and May financials. We're caught up, yay. Everybody have a chance to review those? Questions?
I make a motion to approve the April and May financials.
Second. Discussion? None? Colin?
Yes.
Aye.
Yes. Yes. Dennis Cost?
What? Oh, all right. My name is Dennis Cost, as you know. Represent the Heritage Preservation Foundation. And I want you all to know that, first of all, we want a peaceful settlement to the 1905 Courthouse Museum problem. And we'd like to purchase it from the city for $1 to get it off your hands. We also would like to get our structural engineer in to assess it as soon as possible.
Can we address the first thing first, that you said for
Sure.
$1? We don't want to get rid of the land. If you would like to purchase the building and move it, that would be a possible option.
Okay?
Okay, I just thought I'd address that. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Take that into consideration.
Okay.
As you know, we got a structural engineer to come and assess the building, and that was a major complaint about the building not being safe. And so we are addressing that by providing one and asking your permission to grant him to go in and assess it.
So you guys are going to cover the total cost of this?
I'm sorry?
You're going to cover the total cost of this?
Absolutely.
Okay. Just so you know, a little bit later on in our meeting, we're going to discuss putting an ad in the paper for...
Could you speak up a little bit?
Yes. A little bit later in the meeting, we're going to discuss putting an ad in the paper for giveaway of the building to be removed. So just so you know that. So I don't know if you want to spend the money for a structural...
To give away the building?
Giveaway to be removed. Not the property, just the building. So I don't know how that's going to affect your inspection. I don't know if you want to spend the money on that.
Well, we really believe the courthouse belongs to everybody, not just a few people on this board. Some of them only have one vote. So, we think this is a lot bigger issue to the community than a handful of people.
Well, everybody that I talk to on the street says, you know, it needs to go away. It's, you know, it's an eyesore, and it's, you know, it's nothing but a money pit.
Is it true that you had money appropriated to fix that building and you spent it someplace else?
No, not that which money would that be?
Was there money ever appropriated to fix this?
Well, we shingled the roof at one time, yeah. There was not a bunch of money
How about
appropriated.
grants? Were there ever grants given to fix the building and you turned them down?
We've never turned down a grant. We've never been offered a grant that I know of.
I'm hearing.
Cody, you were on that committee a couple of years ago, correct?
Yes,
And whatever became of that?
I didn't really get its feet off the ground.
You never got any grants or
The
anything?
grant
or-
we received, we gave back
You did get some grants?
$1,000.
Yeah, there was $1,000 grant that we ended up.
No,
getting.
$1,000. Okay. Yeah.
Why was that given back? Why was?
And can you answer that? Why was that given back, she said? Well, I guess what was the grant for, first of all?
I don't recall what it was exactly for.
Okay.
I think it was just for preservation.
You speak up just a little bit.
I think it was just for preservation, but
Okay.
I don't recall exactly what it was for. I'd have to go back and look
Okay.
at all of our stuff that we had back in 2018.
Okay, okay.
Well, we have a list of about 50 people here from around the community and stuff that signed a straw poll to keep it. And, so, I don't know what, you've got anything in writing from people
I don't.
other than hearsay? We do. And the only other thing, if you are backing us into a corner, oh, by the way, you were wondering about grants from me.
No, I
The
wasn't.
governor's office
No, I was not
and
wondering
everyone
about, no, I was not wondering about grants. for that.
has provided a whole list of grants
No,
and
no,
grant assistance to us.
Dennis, I did not ask you about grants, I asked you about what signed commitments you had from other organizations, and you changed it into grants.
No, you asked me to
No, I didn't,
provide you
Dennis.
grants, and I said I would.
Dennis, I'm not gonna argue with you, I did not.
Well,
So, we can go back
you
and
need
review
to
the
watch
minutes.
what's recorded, Larry, because I said I'll bring you some grants. and
Okay,
I
I'm not
did.
gonna argue with you, Dennis, okay?
Well, that's all right.
I know what I said.
Well, it's all recorded, Larry.
Yep, absolutely.
Okay, now, that brings us to where we're at. I was checking into some attorneys in case we needed one. And I came upon the Nodland Law Firm to ask them if they could get a court injunction. They said they were representing the city of Washburn and had a conflict of interest. So what is all that about?
I have no idea.
No idea.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Why would they tell me that?
I have no idea. Dennis, I didn't talk to him, I have no idea. As far as I know, we have nothing going on.
The only attorney we use is David Lindell.
Yeah, he's our attorney.
Interesting.
Well, hey.
Very interesting. Okay.
Maybe you misheard him, I don't know. But we have nothing going on with them that I know of.
Have you heard anything?
I've never heard him. You know,
Okay. All right.
I got something for you,
I was
real quick.
really kind of blown back by that because I had never heard.
well, I'm blowing back by you saying that, because I have absolutely no idea.
Okay.
I do have a question for you.
Well,
Um,
I guess before we let you do things like that, we probably are going to have to ask for a court injunction to stop you.
well, if you're talking about legal action, we're done talking. So,
I'm sorry?
If you're talking about legal action, then we're done talking with you.
Well, I'm just
No, well,
telling
no,
you
if
that,
you say you're gonna
that
do legal, we're done.
You're forcing us to this.
If that's what you're gonna do, then we're done talking.
And,
But I would like to ask you this. I got
What?
a letter from State Historical Society today.
Yeah.
It said, we have been informed by Mr. Dennis Koss that the city has decided to pursue only demolition. That's a total lie, Dennis.
I'm sorry?
We have been informed by Mr. Dennis Koss that the city has decided to pursue only demolition. That's a total lie. We're looking at
I never
getting...
said that.
That's what they got in their letter, right there. If you'd like to read it.
When did this come?
Came today.
Can I get a copy of that letter?
We'll get you a copy after the meeting.
Pursue only demolition, if that's true.
And that's,
Okay.
our thought was to have somebody else, you know, be able to maybe...
I don't know anything about this letter, but
No, I don't know.
we've had numerous discussions about what's gonna happen with the building, and maybe they found something in here that they have to take issue with you guys.
Well, I called them today and told them that wasn't true, and they said, yeah, that's what you said. So I called this Lorna. So,
Well, I don't know anything about that. I wish they'd send me a copy, then I'd know too.
right.
Hey Larry,
So,
if, you guys would, give the building for a dollar, I would donate a lot for it, free of charge.
Well, you'd have to move it though.
Yeah.
Somebody'd have to pay to move it.
That's something we're gonna have to take place.
Well,
to do.
Well, we're gonna discuss putting an ad in the paper that interested parties, you know, be responsible for moving it. And it'll be in the paper for, I don't know, 3-4 weeks, or 5 weeks, I think. And,
We'd actually put it up along 83. I'd donate land for that.
well, you would donate it to the foundation, is that what you're
Yeah.
saying? That's an option.
well, what happens is when you start moving it from the location it's at, the school was really excited about coming down and using it. And we have lots of activities we could do with the school in that building. So when you start tearing it loose and putting it here and there and all over the place, it stops the school from easy access to it. And that's important.
Okay.
So,
You know, I guess you had talked about that last time. You know.
this is like the old school out there, the Nettle Creek School. How many times is that used out there? Can you tell us how many times is that school used out there?
5 or 6 times a year.
Huh?
5 or 6 times a
5
year.
to 6 times a year, okay. Well, we could do stuff in that courthouse on an ongoing basis, all the time. But it needs to stay there. Once you start tearing it all apart and moving it all over the place, all of a sudden you have to start from scratch. And it's already there.
Well, the foundation is shot, Dennis.
The foundation is not shot. Okay, the structural engineer, read your letter. I'll call you back, I'm sorry. Here's the letter that they sent. Okay?
Okay, we're not gonna drag this out forever. Just,
Well,
you know, make your
Now
point.
listen,
and-
they need to see the letter. Did you show them the letter that the engineer sent? That shows that this building can be fixed?
It doesn't say that.
Did you show them that, Larry?
I don't know who all saw it. Did you give it to send it out? I don't know if you sent it out or not.
Okay.
No, I don't think I have a copy of it.
Okay.
Well, this one goes to Mr. Peterson. Here's a copy of the letter that shows it's from the structural engineers. Yeah.
Come on, turn that off.
Get your phone off.
Jeez.
I don't know what to do to shut this thing off.
You know, for somebody to say that it's a good building, they've never seen it, is just ludicrous. So,
There you go.
come on.
Well, he asked to come, and you kind of...
No, you asked him to come.
Well, he has a letter to you asking to set up an appointment, if you read the letter carefully. Okay?
Well, you
So he'd like-
should have came to us and asked for
Well,
permission.
he wrote you a letter
for
and
that.
said, you know, I'd like to work with you and set up a
I know
time
what the
that's
letter
convenient.
said. I know what the letter said.
So, let's not twist this all around.
All right, get to your point. What do you want, Dennis?
So, this building can be fixed.
You don't know that.
And, well, I don't, but...
Well, okay,
this-
anything can be
the-
fixed for the right money.
Well, that's right, and that's what we have grants for, Larry. And he's saying in here that We could be here as soon as the week of June 14th to schedule a trip. Okay? In a couple weeks, we could give you the results. And later on, and he says there are viable economic solutions available to correct discoverable structure issues and assure the structure, including the foundation, can withstand all of the environmental and occupancy live loads required by governing codes to assure that the building is safe for public use for the foreseeable future.
Okay.
So that's the bottom line.
If you'd like to, this is addressed to Mr. Peterson of the
And you have
State
a copy,
Historical
too.
Society.
You have a
But it's
copy.
not even addressed to me. I
You
mean,
have one.
But you're saying,
You know
I got
that.
a copy of a letter to Mr. Peterson.
You have a letter. You know that, Larry.
I never said I didn't, Dennis. Don't.
You got the same. They got the same letter.
It's not
You got
addressed.
one and
It's
you
not
got
addressed to me. It's not addressed to the city. So.
You got one.
Oh, Jesus.
When you got it, you called him up.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, you did. Okay. And that was to you. And if you look down here at the bottom of the letter, it'll tell you who it was sent to. Right there at the bottom, all the people there at the bottom of the letter.
Yeah.
Okay? So don't deny that.
I didn't deny anything, Dennis. You're just
Yeah,
twisting
you are. You're
words.
talking in circles.
All right. You know what? You're about done. What do you want, Dennis?
What I want you to do is allow our structural engineer to come in there and take a look at this and do what you said you were going to do in the beginning. Give us a year.
I never said that. Oh my God, Dennis.
Dennis, no one of us said we were gonna give you a year. You asked for a year. Nothing, no decision was made the last
Larry
meeting.
told us down at the museum.
I did not. You are such a liar, Dennis. Oh my God.
You know what?
You know what? You're done.
Well, I guess, well, like I said, we're trying to do it peacefully.
You do what you gotta do.
I guess
We'll do what we
probably
gotta
will.
do. You do what you gotta do, we'll do what we gotta do.
All right. I guess that ends that. Anybody else has anything? Am I overlooking anything?
Okay, we'll move on.
All right. Thank you.
All right.
Can I ask, what is, if building gets tore down, what is the area gonna be used for?
The plan is to have a Veterans Memorial Park there with a little event center for outside events, like little outside events for community, little community programs and stuff like that. And then, expand on the Veterans Memorial part of it. And there'd be like a shelter with picnic tables and then flush toilets, and the Legion is very much behind this, so.
Well, I'm just kind of surprised at so many old buildings in this town. When you drive into Washburn, it says, "Welcome to the historical town of Washburn." And there's, all the old buildings are all going away.
Well, it would be really nice if we had unlimited funds to do everything with, but we have streets that we need to deal with, we have all this other infrastructure we need to deal with. We just don't have the money. And it's fine that if somebody wants to fix something up, but then who's gonna take care of it? And that's usually what you see. People go, yeah, well, we'll fix it, but then it falls to the wayside because nobody continues to upkeep it, And really, this building, the original courthouse burned down. This was built in a hurry. And then it was only there for, 8 to 10 years while they were building the other courthouse. So really, the historical value, I don't think it's there. I think that the other courthouse was way more historical than this one. But, there was health issues with that one. People were getting sick in there. Yeah, they were. I see you shaking your head. So, the city just doesn't have money to put into this. you know, and we can make a really nice spot, you know, downtown for the residents and visitors alike, so. Does that answer your question?
So if it isn't historic, how did it get on the historic list?
I wasn't there when that happened, don't know.
Doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, well, just because there's a lot of things on the historic list that probably shouldn't be on there. So, okay.
Could I get a copy of that letter that you were showing, that I...
From the Historical Society?
Yeah.
Absolutely, after the
I'd like to
meeting.
have a copy of that.
After the meeting,
I don't know
yeah.
anything about that.
Okay. So, you know, I don't have a problem with you, if you want to pay for an inspection on that building, I don't have a problem with that, but it's not going to change, you know,
Well, maybe-
what we plan on doing here. So, if you want to spend the money, I don't have a problem with it unless anybody else does. But we're not going to be responsible for any of the cost on that.
That's fine. So we have permission then to bring them in?
Do you know how much that's going to cost? Oh,
What's that?
do you know what the cost is going to be on that?
What the cost?
The cost is going to be on that?
Oh, I'm not positive. I suppose maybe you don't get much work done for less than a few $1,000s.
Well, I'm sure it's going to be at least that much. Yeah, because I asked him that too, and he said, oh, I don't really know. So,
Yeah. It's gonna be several $1,000s, I'm sure.
Well, I'm sure it will be, yeah. I mean, like I said, I don't have a problem if you want to do that.
My only concern with that is since it is a
Okay.
city building, that does not bill come back to the city.
That's right.
You know, I mean, if you guys want to absorb that cost, but, you know, it's not fair to the city, you know.
Yeah, well,
put
whatever.
that bill back to them.
We, as long as he can assess it, we have permission to bring him in, I guess that's step one. And,
You probably need a motion on that then,
so.
just so we know.
Okay. Yeah, I guess I make a motion to allow the, what do you guys call, the Heritage Foundation to,
This would be the,
or what?
Engineer companies?
CW and
No,
structural.
but to allow their group
Oh, they're
to authorize
And fully pay for.
and fully fund, the inspection on the courthouse.
Yeah, that says that right in the letter, that we are the ones responsible to pay.
Well, I get that, but my issue is it's still a city-owned building. And typically if, you know, any liens would probably go to the city, that's my concern.
Get it in writing.
Yeah, so we'll
Um,
have
Get it in
to deal
writing.
with that.
And I would,
We would also like that in writing, put that on your motion too. So.
Yep, and I would request that you guys put that in writing to the city. You know, put that in writing that you guys will fund that and hold the city, harmless from any, you know.
Sure.
Okay,
Cost associated with that.
so we'll have to have that in writing before you do it, so, okay.
Okay. That's not a problem.
Hold it, we have a motion on the table, do we have a second? Are you done with the motion?
Yep, I'm done with the motion.
Okay.
I'll second that.
Ron, had a question?
Okay, but I just have a request that when the engineer comes, that maybe someone from the city could be there too,
I will try and be there.
with, you know, someone from the historical society, so it's more than one steady ear.
Very good idea, okay,
Thank
very
you.
good, all right. Any discussion? Colin?
And
Aye.
you hear that, Rhonda?
Aye.
What you said?
Yes.
Yes.
That I would like someone
Okay.
from the city there, when it's
Okay, let's move on.
Library board appointment?
Lynette Lanning's 3-year term, or her term was up. She has agreed to serve another 3 years. So, Liz just asked that we reappoint her to the board for another 3 years.
I move that we reappoint Lanning for another 3-year term on the library board.
I'll second that.
All in favor, Colin?
Aye.
Aye. Yes.
Yes.
One other thing about the library board, I was notified Friday that Liz was going to take another job with
It doesn't matter where, don't need to say.
take another job. So she will be we need to look for a replacement by June 30th. And I'd like to talk with the board of the library and have them advertise for it.
Right.
If that's all right with the city.
I think that'd be the way to handle it. Yeah, okay,
Okay.
absolutely, yeah, very good.
Thank you.
Okay. Tree trimming?
Okay, there's Colin can chime in on this more too. Some trees around town, that need to be cut down. We did get some quotes from doing a rental, or if we want to hire it out. It was kind of hard for me to call and get any quotes from a tree trimming service, because I don't exactly know the amount of trees that we're going to have or where at, but it's just something that we're going to look at, or if we want to just rent one for a couple days, a week, and have the guys do it, how we want to proceed with that.
Basically, it's early stages. I asked Matt to get some quotes on what it would cost to rent a man lift or a aerial lift for a day or a week.
We have those.
Yep. Just so we can compare, and that's, if we decide it's something that we can do it, we want to do it ourselves, that we, mark the trees throughout the summer, whatever it is, and then when we get maybe towards fall, we get a week where we can figure out how much time is required to take what we have down.
Well, first of all, we need a list of trees.
Right,
So,
exactly.
Yeah.
But I got this, we know what equipment costs are, then if we can get a list of trees and get a hold of a tree service, just to get an idea.
Right, oh, absolutely.
I mean, obviously, this is just equipment costs, it's not counting man hours, labor
Right.
costs, none of that, so.
No,
Right.
my question with this man lift is good. Do we need a man lift because we pay a large amount for putting up signs and taking them down on Main Street, and we can't use the payloader for that because there's no deal? Are we wanting to get more involved with that stuff and buy a lift that is mobile so we can do this stuff? Or do we want to back away from it? That's, I'm asking.
Man lifts aren't cheap,
Man, my big concern is where to store it. Outside, and
Well,
that's one of the problems too, is.
Exactly. That's.
I mean, I guess we can look at some prices on one, but, yeah.
I mean, at this point, we can, look at the costs, because I don't know what they cost either. Doesn't have to be
Well,
right.
yeah, if you're getting new, big size, whatever, there's a whole bunch of variants. But I need to know how involved we want to get. If we
Well-
want to stay away from it and have everything hired done.
Well, how about if, and this is an idea, how about if, when we get the new loader, I mean, it's obviously got quick attach.
Yeah, we can make a bucket, but
Could
I
we get a
don't
bucket?
know.
I mean, I don't know if that's a good idea or not.
If you like that or not.
I don't know, again, it's not what I like, it's what, when we're talking OSHA, workmen's comp,
All right, we don't-
rules and
we don't say it,
regulations,
yeah.
we gotta
Yep.
comply by that,
We
so.
want-
Right, because that's what Hazen does. They have a truck and they also have the bucket.
Yeah.
So it's what a person prefers.
Yeah.
So,
Now, if we get into the tree trimming or cutting like that, do we have to get additional insurance?
Well,
because of it?
Well, part of this too is this, again, it's just strictly a lift. Now, we're not talking, what do we do with it? A tree company, they've got the chipper, they can shred all this,
Mhm.
they can get rid of the big logs.
Yep, yep.
But then now we have to deal with it, so
Yep.
it's not something, we need to decide on tonight, it's just kind of a start of a process I think we need to look
Yeah.
at.
to talk about,
Future,
yes.
yep.
All right,
That's-
but yeah, I think first of all, we need a list of trees and then,
Yep.
go from there, so. Okay. All right. Where am I here? Also with that, the alleys are really becoming overgrown with the trees and the shrubs. That really is up to the landowner's responsibility to take care of those. Put an ad in the paper maybe, a block ad maybe or something. What do you think?
That's great for the people that get the paper.
Yeah, I know. Well, we can also put it on Facebook and all that other stuff. but-
Now, these are the alleys with roads on it, not just not really alleys, they're,
Well, anybody travels. I mean.
right, okay, because there's access to other ones that they're not really an alley, it's just a
Yeah, it would be actual.
road alley.
See,
Okay,
yeah.
yep, okay.
So, and there's a bunch of them. I suppose,
But there's probably gonna have to be somebody marking things out a little bit or giving some guidelines for these owners to know.
or maybe we just need to drive them and then send letters out saying, that might be the best.
And maybe just, if there's ordinance or whatever, send a copy with that or something.
Right.
That's what we did with our mowing letters.
Right.
Because Erica sent out we went and looked around towns, and we had letters go out last week to multiple people for yards that were really bad with either tall grass or weeds growing in them.
Yeah. All right.
So we could just change it to include the ordinance for the blockage of streets with trees.
Okay, that's what I'd say, send out a letter to those.
Okay. We'll work on those two. Cell phone allowance?
Right now, we only have one person on our cell phone plan. It was hard to switch anybody else over because they've already have established plans, family plans or whatnot with what they're on. So it's become a question, paying for one, do we want to just have an allowance for everyone else that they get paid instead of having to switch over to our plan? Or however you want to handle that. Or are we just going to keep the one on our plan, that's the one we're going to pay for?
Well, if we do a cell phone allowance, you know, I think it should be a certain amount of dollars.
Well, yeah, no, it should be a certain amount, but then I don't think we have to worry about, you know, what has happened in the past, if, you know, especially with some of the phones and they're locked and password, now we got a phone that can't be used.
Yeah.
To me, it's easier just to do an allowance.
I would say up to a certain point. I mean, obviously, if they're paying 40, we're not gonna give them 50.
Right.
You know, but.
But is that going to be, are they going to answer it then?
They better.
Well, that's what I'm saying. If there's an emergency on a weekend,
Being hired by the city, you're basically on call 24/7.
right, just so that this makes sure that they understand that.
Right, but the problem is, if we buy the phone, it's under our plan, there's still no guarantee that they're gonna answer the phone either way,
Right,
you know? So,
but if you got the phone and it's not being answered, why aren't you answering it?
Well, but if we give them the allowance. then-
Right, same thing.
Yeah.
So if we're going to do an allowance, we have to make sure that they understand that.
Well, they've been told that when they were hired.
Yeah, we just got to reaffirm it since we're.
Well, yeah. Do you have any idea what, I suppose you don't know what the other plans are, right?
No, I asked them to get some ideas, because I don't, know what all their plans entail of what their amount is, but I don't foresee it, like, it being under what we're paying already.
Well, why don't we wait till our next meeting and then we can find out.
Table, get some plan costs together, what you guys are paying now, and
Okay. Crap, another one. Drainage ditch. From last meeting.
that goes back to the one up, other side of the highway where, I guess Marv took it upon himself to, proceed with that project. As I mentioned before, it was not really, the commission had voted not to do it. However, Marv looked at it as irrelevant, I guess. He opted to get a hold of Chris and complete that project. As of the last downpour, I guess we had, it is working as intended. The water is running through there pretty much entirely. You know, who knows what, if you get a major snowpack and, snow melt, how it's gonna run, but all indications are it's working as intended. At the meeting, it was brought up that Marv should pay that. I felt differently because it does benefit the city. So at the last meeting, I asked that we reconsider and that we reimburse Marv. Whether we do it with Marv or the invoice is from Chris at Dirty Deeds.
It's an invoice to Marv.
Huh?
It's an invoice to Marv.
Yep. So, I guess I would like to make a motion that we reimburse Marv for the $1,000 that he paid to have this project done.
There's my bill for,
Well, just
Work
wait,
done.
we have a motion.
okay.
Mike, we're done here.
We have a motion, do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, now we'll go on to discussion. The biggest problem with this, it was on private property. The final agreement with the landowner was never pretty much sealed. It was just a proposed thing, and, we were putting together, trying to come up with a plan altogether to make this happen. So really, if you wanted to be, legally, you could call it trespassing. It's not gonna be an issue with this landowner. But, and what kind of precedent does this set? If a commission votes no, there is a procedure for, readdressing an issue. That's my thoughts. I think it was handled badly. That's my opinion. So, anybody else?
It was handled badly by multiple people, I would say, at the meeting, after the fact. Point is, I look at two people, somebody made a mistake. So if anybody makes a mistake, now we're gonna hold that person responsible. Well, shit, how far back do we go? Commissioners have made mistakes. Now you look at somebody that might wanna run as commission, they're gonna say, screw that, I ain't gonna run, because I'm being held responsible if I make a mistake. None of us are perfect.
Oh, that's true.
So,
What about the other people that put time and effort in there and machines to find the thing that the commission talked about and donated it because...
was this up front? I mean, did you tell anybody that, well, this is gonna be my time if I do this?
Well, nobody told me there was going to be anybody's time to hire Chris to do it either.
The hell it wasn't. We talked about it at the meeting. Larry said it's gonna be approximately this much money to do it. So we kinda knew that going into it.
And it was voted no.
And it was, it turned about to be less, so.
Well, I will say too, it was not done the way the proposed plan was set out either, so. Anyway, other discussion. We have a motion and a second. Colin?
Aye.
Mike?
No.
Don?
Yes.
I'm gonna vote no.
Okay.
So it failed for, okay. All right, direct deposit, payroll.
Today I uploaded we have switched over to direct deposit. We've had it since we got our new software system. We finally just got it up and running. I got time cards today, did everything normal like we should. I uploaded the file, we should see it now, and so we'll be paid Tuesday mornings. I still want to have all our time cards reviewed, signed off by a commissioner, and signatured so that time cards are still being reviewed. You can see our upload file, you know exactly what's going in. You can verify that the amounts are the same, just so that we have that double check and it's still being covered.
Yeah, that works good for me. Anybody have any questions on that? Okay. Special election. So, I have a question for John and his wife. So, you went out with a petition, correct? And that petition was for what? Do you know?
Well, I guess you guys are gonna vote on it. You guys gonna go ahead and vote on it, vote somebody in, and then me and Dennis discussed it, and if you got so many signatures, then you gotta hold a special election.
Right, that's what it was for, but after talking to people in the community, they were told that, you have a petition so you could run for city commission. That's what they were told. And I've heard that from more than one person.
I don't care what they were told, that's not what I told them.
Well, I'm just telling you what I was told. It'd be here nor there, they obviously didn't read it. but,
Yeah, but not, some of them did.
so we have to have a special election, but I'm really disappointed in that. I don't know if you know, but a special election can cost us like up to $5,000. So, which I.
Not worth it.
Yeah,
Well,
whatever you say, so.
Whenever you guys talk about mistakes, I got a question for you.
Well, we're talking about special election right now, so.
Right, well, I'm on your
This is on our agenda. So we have to set a date, I suppose, for a special election. So the petitions have to be in, what, 64 days before the election,
Yep.
correct?
Yep.
And how long do they have to get a petition? Do you know that yet?
It doesn't necessarily say the days, we just have to set the election so it's at least 64 days out, because then they have to be turned in by 4 p.m. And then within 30 days of the election, they have to be on the ballot. We have to publish the names in the paper of who's running.
So we're probably looking at the earliest September. So,
Just because, yeah, we have to give them enough advance for people to know that, so that they can go out and get the number of signatures that they need, have adequate time so that they're turned in within that 64 day prior to the election.
right. So our next meeting is on 28th. So on the 28th, we should be able to maybe pick a day, is that right? And then,
Yeah, we don't have a set day that we have to, or make a decision how many days after we get that petition to set election. We just have to set it. We just have to make sure we're within those timeframes, so.
okay, or do we want to set a date at this time? And then we make sure everything is done until then. What do you think would be the best way? Because you're the one that has to do it. Anybody have any thoughts on that, or?
I'd rather get it done before October, personally.
Right.
We have to do the election like on a Tuesday or a specific day, or is it any day?
No, I think the special election, I think, can be held on any day because it's not an actual election.
Well, it can't be a weekend, but.
Right, but I mean during the
Right.
week.
We
Yeah.
just have to follow all the procedures
The
of an
guidelines.
actual election, so we'll still have to, have the poll workers, we'll have to hire all the workers for the day, we have to get the canvassing board and all that. If we want to use the electronic poll books, we just have to get with McLean County. If we just want a printed paper copy to verify addresses, we can do it that way. And then we're gonna do it just probably with a paper ballot anyway, and then
this
have to
would be
count
in the
them.
Memorial Building then?
Wherever we choose to have it. I think that's the best place.
So I'm wondering if maybe September 20th, that gives us 3 months, almost 3 months to have everything done. And if we have it on the 20th, then we do the canvassing board, and then, our next meeting would be on October 11th. What does everybody think of that? I don't know.
Well, let's try for that and see if it falls into
Well, we'll have
all
to
the
make it
deals.
work.
Yeah. Make sure that,
So, let's set it for, if it's right with everybody, a motion to set the special election for Monday, September 20th. That gives us 3 months, we should be able to get everything done by then, I would think, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, that's my motion.
I'll second that.
Discussion. Colin?
Aye.
Aye.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. A2S update. Everybody get a copy of that? Drainage improvements, utility locates are in, survey work to start at the end of the week or beginning of next week. Street improvements, 4 locations staked, material testing service to call utility locate this week and possibly start bores the following week. FEMA grant funding, working on request for additional grant funding. Main Avenue project, which is right down here, this coulee. Weiss plans to fix slope this week. They haven't called you or anything, have they?
No.
Weiss? Not yet.
No, by the first one.
I'm sure Eldo will be calling.
Okay.
I would guess. So,
Really need more dirt down there to slope that out a little bit better, or?
I think they just need to slope it.
Okay.
I mean, it was all rutted up from, I think they went in there when it was wet.
Yep,
And then they're
okay.
gonna have to reduce some more seating too, so.
Okay.
Portfolios, Colin, Mike?
We did receive a bid for redoing the floor at the Memorial Hall, but we're waiting to see what the school has to say. So they have a letter. So at the next meeting, hopefully that'll be, we can decide on refinishing the floor from the Memorial Hall. Unless they want to come in earlier, then we might have to call a special deal. I'm just waiting for numbers.
Okay. Anything else?
I'd like to repost the cleaning lady for the Memorial Hall.
I saw it was in the paper this week.
Okay,
Is
yeah.
there a reason it wasn't in for a few weeks, or?
I probably just told them to run it for those 4 weeks or whatever, and then took a week off, and
Yeah.
I reposted it, or sent it back again to them last week and told them to repost it for another couple weeks, so.
Yeah, I know Barb would like to get out of it, so.
Yeah.
A lot of work to do, cleaning the kitchen downstairs, and we're not using it much.
Yeah.
So, and I think that was about it.
Don?
Nothing.
I have an estimate from Smithy's to build a drain cover for that drainage up in Heritage Heights. It's for $600. It'll be round, made of 1.5 inch expanded metal with a cover on top. I move that we go with Smithy's for $600 for the drain cover.
I'll second that.
Discussion. Colin?
So now we're putting money into something that wasn't supposed to be done in the first place?
Well, we gotta put a cover on it.
Okay.
Okay. Let's vote. Colin?
No.
Aye.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. We're still working with Otter Tail on the lights. We still have to, determine who owns what lights, what we're responsible for, especially up on the highway and then on the end of Main down there. I did call the district office, and I think it was last week, and so I'll be working with them on trying to get this figured out. And then I talked to Otter Tail too, and they're gonna try and figure it out on their end also. Okay, I hear, got this ad, we're putting the old courthouse up for giveaway to be removed. It would be taking written requests until July 15th, and it would have to be removed by October 1st. And that would go in the legals of the Washburn Leader, the Garrison Independent, the Bismarck Tribune, weekly, whatever we can get until the week of the 15th. So I'll make a motion to put that ad in the papers.
Second?
Discussion? Colin?
Aye.
Mike?
Aye.
Yes.
Yes. Okay, the yard letters are almost done. We've got the pictures taken, the letter is written. We just need to get them coordinated on, who gets the letter and which ordinance goes with it, and then we'll get those sent out, hopefully this week yet. Other than that, I don't have anything else. Chelsea?
I was asked by somebody at the Riverboat Days Committee, they were told that there's open rooms that were cleaned out a couple of years ago, down in the basement that are not being used. They were asked if they could store their games and stuff down there, so I don't know where they're kept right now, I never asked, but I was just asked yesterday.
I don't know what rooms that the Legion has, the old coal closet or whatever, and...
The only thing I can think of is that art association room that has all those stand-up
Squares in there?
things in there, and I don't know, when was the last time those were even used? I don't even know.
I don't know. But we'd have to check with them, because that would be about the only room.
I don't even think there's art association.
No, there isn't.
What games?
That's dissolved.
The games that they had over, set up at the Memorial Hall, I don't exactly know. There's 5, how many games are over there?
There were a lot.
Well, there's a few big wooden ones, there's probably like 4, and then there were some
The
smaller
littler
ones.
ones, yeah.
Yeah.
We'd have to get all those frames out of that room down there then.
I guess we can look it over, we'd have to look it over and see what's available, I guess. I don't really know.
Yeah, because the other closet across from that the elevator, that's decorations.
Right.
That's taken care of. There's the one that the old stove was in and stuff like that, that janitorial type deal.
Most everything has got stuff in it. doesn't it?
Yes, most of it except for that room there.
But that's full of
But-
those.
Right, and I didn't know if they belonged to anybody, so.
We'll have to look at it.
Okay.
I mean, if we find a room, is it something, they're still, I think, up there, so I'll have to tell them to get them out, but if it is open, is it something that,
Well, there's 2 rooms in the Legion where we have our Legion meetings that don't have anything in them, but I'm sure they weren't talking about those 2 rooms.
There is?
Huh?
You have 2 rooms in there you're not using?
Well, we have some stuff in there, but not, not a lot.
I'm thinking they're gonna need a little bit of room for this stuff.
Yeah. I think that room would be big enough, and they might have to share with somebody else if somebody else.
Might have to
wants
share. We can make room in the decoration room, maybe.
That one's pretty full.
That is pretty
Last time I
full.
checked.
I will take a look at it.
didn't know it was either, or all kept, well, right now, I guess, if archery's not going on, what's in that old alley room?
Yeah, whatever.
There's nothing in there.
Weren't we gonna do archery in there, Colin?
Huh?
Were we gonna do archery in that room?
Well,
because
they
of
rented it
COVID,
out,
they
but
got
they
it.
had to use the upstairs
Because of
of
COVID.
COVID. So they didn't have it last year, and then just this last fall, winter, they were using the upstairs
No, I'm talking
to
about.
spread people
for-
out.
I was looking at it, but there wasn't enough interest, so.
Oh, there wasn't? Oh, okay.
No.
Okay.
Because I was hoping that they could move back down into that room if possible.
I don't see it because there's so many of them. You ever seen how many people
Yeah,
are
I
there
see
for that?
it,
There,
you
it's
know.
full. It
And
is
it,
full.
and the net looks good and stuff like that, but
Yeah.
it's all set up if we need to go back down there,
Yeah.
so.
Yeah, I was thinking that would have been a really good thing for archery practice for, people at their deer hunting. Okay.
That decoration room is going to be filled with 10 to 12 boxes once they pick them up.
Okay.
Yeah,
So that's probably not a good room then.
Pretty full.
Okay. I guess we'll have to see what they all got and then.
Yeah, and see what we can fit in there, and if anybody wants that other stuff.
Right. And sometimes just moving stuff around
Yeah.
makes all the difference. Okay. Do you have anything else, Chelsea?
Yes. Budget requests. I'm going to start working on the budget. So anything that you guys are looking at possibly to be budgeted for 2022, I will start taking that in numbers. August 10th is the deadline for our preliminary budget that has to be turned in, so that will have to be approved.
So basically, the July meetings will, probably a lot of that will be taken up with the budget.
Yeah. And we cannot increase our budget after the prelim is submitted, so take that into consideration. We can only
All right.
decrease our mills. And then the other thing I have, with our new software program, it has been set up as accrual basis instead of cash basis. The auditors were making the adjustments at the end of the year for that to take it out, where now we just went ahead and set that up. I just want it to be known, just so when you're looking at financial reports, that revenue is being accounted for before it actually comes in, where cash basis, it's being accounted for, taken out as the money's coming in and going out.
Oh.
However we want to look at it, it has been set up that way. If the reports need to be changed, if we want to go back to a cash basis and start having the auditors then make their adjustments again at the end of the year on the back end, we can do that, or we can stick with it however that, just knowing that this is what we're expected to be given, but it's not necessarily what will be received. Mainly the big thing is taxes, and if they're not paid on time.
This is what they recommended doing? Or-
Yeah, and I talked to Alex, he said we can do it either way, since we've been going along with it this way, we could leave it. They make their adjustments on their end to get all the numbers matched, where then I don't do anything with them after that, they just add their on. preference way, it can be done either way.
What's your preference?
I'd rather just leave it since it's going that way now.
I think it's entirely the way you want it, because you have to deal with it.
Okay.
So, and then we can, read stuff as it's presented, so.
Okay.
Right, everybody? That makes sense.
Okay.
Anything else?
No.
Like, we'll real quick, like to say, thanks to the Riverboat Days Committee. They did a wonderful job, at several of the functions. Man, it was a great turnout, lots of people. Oh my God, beautiful weather. Even to the city crew, they were fighting the weather. And I thought town looked pretty good considering everything. So, yeah, thank you to them. So, Erica, you got something? Okay, anybody from the crowd? John, you had a question?
Yeah, we got I just wanna know about the liability on a fire hydrant that's sitting on our land that the city put on there.
And where would that be?
It's up there by, where Detroit lives? Well, Doug and...
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Doug and Robin, yeah?
It's on the end of the street. Well, anyway, all I was questioning is if our renter, Samuelson, they come along and hit us an air seeder, who's liable? Does he pay for the fire hydrant, or do you pay for his equipment? It was put in by Berquist years ago. You mentioned it to me, I didn't know.
I guess I would have to go look at it.
I just wanna know who'd be liable.
I mean, is it actually in the farmland?
Yeah.
It is. Do you know how far in, or?
Oh, probably 5, 6 feet.
Is it?
Well, they gotta go around it.
Oh, they do.
Yeah.
So that's right on the end past, Detroit there, past Newleaf?
Yeah.
I'll go take a look at it.
Take a look at it.
I'll look at it.
Well, we just wanna know who would be responsible if it's busted or...
Okay, yeah, I'll go take a look at it.
Okay.
Anybody else?
I have
Yes, Ray?
I'm concerned that on the east end of Maine,
Okay.
the average speed, the other day I got a speed gun, I borrowed a speed gun. The average speed was 45 miles an hour leaving town. There was one guy that was pushing 60.
Okay.
I've been up to the sheriff's office, and I've talked to a couple deputies, and my answer is, well, the sheriff says don't sweat the small stuff. Now, across from my house, there's a 2-year-old boy,
Yeah.
and cars parked along the street. I don't want to hear a big screech and a thud. So, I don't know why they can't police that area, put a letter in the paper from the sheriff's department or the city council that says, hey, it's 25 miles an hour. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
And I don't know what to do about it because I've been beating my head against the wall for over 2 years.
Right. And we, I don't know if it's the next meeting, but before we sign our police contract, we're gonna have the sheriff himself down here, and we're gonna be addressing a lot of these issues.
Yeah, the only other answer,
Yeah.
if you watch
Yeah.
2.5 Men, is Berta, you gotta lead them a little bit. Squeeze your trigger, don't pull it. But I mean,
That's a flashing light or something that reminds them that they're speeding or something like that.
otherwise, put in a speed bump and to hell with them, they can drive 20 miles an hour.
Yeah, you are right, it's fast down there.
It's absolutely ridiculous. Some of them crank up at Severson's and when they're leaving town, and when they hit my place, they're doing 55 miles an hour.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
so somewhere we gotta tell them, hey, slow down.
we are also very frustrated. I mean, what do? You mentioned it, and,
Thank you.
thank you, Ray. Anybody else? Okay, bills? Do we have a chance to review the bills? Motion to pay bills? Anyone?
You'll make a motion to pay the bills.
I'll second it.
Questions on the bills? Colin?
Aye. Aye.
Yes. Yes. Next meeting, June 28th. Is that when, CR's coming?
Yes.
Well, it'd have to be.
That's when it, yeah.
Well, it'd have to be.
Yeah,
So,
because our contract has to be in by July 1st, but that is when he's scheduled. He told me he'd...
Next meeting, Ray.
Pardon?
Next meeting, JR should be here. Please.
You're gonna have the
Next
sheriff?
meeting, yes.
I will attend.
Okay. All right, meeting adjourned. Thank you, everyone, for coming. So we need a couple copies of this letter?
No, you're gonna use it for free? No. No, it's, no.
Yeah, I
it's
am
free.
the profits a lot.
Yeah, see,
You're getting up like I do.
She was a Schaefer from
I
under.
was gonna tell you.
Lloyd Schaefer's wife. She grew up north of Pickersville, and if I understand it right, that's where the profits are, north of the Pickersville, before Drake, right?
No, the profits are right where the sign is, where you're going, leaving McLean County, going into Sheridan County.
Okay.
That's where the profits start.
Okay.
You turn down that gravel road, you go down that gravel